Hey guys, it's Will. Hopefully you're having a great day today. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down IonQ stock and some of the recent moves that we saw today. It's up 4.97% to start the day. See that 200-day moving average actually sweeping in there, so starting to indicate some more bullish momentum on the stock. It is a little bit on the overbought side from just a perspective of the support and the resistance. You can see it's right there near the top around $25 to $27, but it is starting to get more momentum. And this is kind of the trend that we've been watching closely, and we're starting to see it now develop a little bit further. So again, if you take a look at the recent trend, there is this pretty bullish trend that we saw happen last time. If I pull this, see that right there. So you got the previous support and resistance, and it's starting to make its way still up there. And if you just kind of drag this, we've seen this happen before a little more aggressively right here. You kind of see that level at which then it continued to sell back down. And we've seen this happen where it's swinging back and forth. Recently swung all the way up to here. So why is it going up? What's the reason? Is it just kind of a market relief tariff potential, or is it starting to see real reasons why it's going up? And absolutely, there's some real reasons why it's going up. For those of you guys not familiar, IonQ Quantum is now, they have this on their website. They recently put it there. They specialize in working towards improving drug discovery, quantum machine learning, and scrubbing the atmosphere of CO2 and sequestration here. That's quite the initiative. And then I think the last one was battery tech as well that they're focusing on there. Better battery materials. There's a lot of instances where quantum computing outperforms GPUs. And one of the instances is when it comes down to calculating things like, if you look at drug discovery down to the molecular level, to the ionic level. This is a company, it's called IonQ, because they're calculating things down to the ionic level. When you get into that, now the type of calculations that need to take place for those things to happen, the high frequency of electrons and what have you, is very hard to calculate with classical computers, or at least it takes a massive amount of computing power. But they're focusing on doing that with their computers. They have partnerships with Hyundai, NVIDIA, Airbus, Microsoft Azure, you got Amazon Bracket, Google Cloud, some of the biggest companies in the world, including GE Research, Lockheed Martin, Air Force Research Laboratory, even kind of in blue collar there as well with Thomson and Cat. I do see that they've gotten some flack recently as their financials haven't really been that good, but they are still mainly in research of their tech, and they're not fully, I would say, commercial. Now, there's a few recent contracts. You can see here is a contract they just announced yesterday. IonQ signs an MOU with Intellian, deepening its commitment to advancing South Korea's quantum economy there. So you have IonQ has grown and prospered due to its commitment to global partnerships. We look forward to working together with Intellian to innovate and discover how quantum networking technologies can secure free communications. That's quite interesting. South Korea has been a vital partner in the advancement of quantum computing, and our longstanding engagement with partners in the region reflects our shared commitment to innovation. So they don't have a dollar amount that I could see on this partnership, but they do have some other dollar amounts that have been interesting. So take a look at the recent news. There's three things we look at when identifying a deal. The first thing is going to be the market. The quantum computing market is growing fast. You see it up to billions of dollars recently, and projected by IBM to reach $3 to $5 trillion in the next few years, which is a huge surge from where it currently is. Now, whether that's an overestimation or what have you, I would still say the market's growing, and you see just in the last year, really all the companies surging 5x or 10x in the quantum AI space. And let me just pull up the quantum watch list before we jump in. The second thing we look at in a stock is the analysis. So the charts, the news, as well as the financials. And then the third thing we look at is the margin for profit, the actual plan that we could put together to trade it. What we're seeing here on IonQ, from the technical perspective, we kind of went over it. It's maybe looking a tad overextended, but starting to really indicate some bullish momentum there. When we take a look at the news, the reality is we don't like to watch hype articles. We don't spend time on hype articles. A lot of times I don't click on Yahoo Finance. One time I clicked on a Yahoo Finance article on Super Microcomputer, and I click on the article. It's talking about how NVIDIA's ending a partnership with a popular company. I take that to heart and say, look at this, NVIDIA's ending this partnership with the popular company. And then NVIDIA goes out, has their earnings call, and announces that they're not ending it. They're in fact extending it and upping their partnership with that company. The company was Super Microcomputer. And people were telling me, Will, I sold the stock because I thought the partnership was out, and look how much it went up and all this. First of all, don't buy and sell based on what I say. Second of all, I'm not going to be the guy that's watching from wherever I am in the world. Like right now we're in California, out in the woods, and we've been trading each morning live. If you want to be there, it's the second link in the description. I'm not going to be that guy that's sitting there saying, this article says this and this article says that, because I know now that most of those things are fake. Most of these articles are fake. So we got to take them with a grain of salt. Anyway, with that story, the other thing that happened after that was the guy actually, I made an apology video, and the person that ended up selling really liked the analysis and then tipped me. He sent me a YouTube tip of like $20 or something and said, thanks for coming clean. Such a funny thing. But anyway, I don't listen to Yahoo Finance articles. I don't listen to a lot of this stuff for that reason. So there is an article, two articles. There's a .gov article there. There's also this IonQ surges amid new quantum partnership. Outside of this, you can see it's mentioning that Japan technology partnership here. That's the one that we actually just kind of went over, so I'm not going to jump into it too much. That's basically it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. And so that's why I don't look at those articles. But there is something that recently passed, which is the quantum reauthorization initiative here. This is a $2.7 billion bill that searches up, and it just passed recently in the past few weeks. You can see that this is a $2.7 billion for research towards quantum computing, and one of the main companies on here to receive funding was IonQ. Now, you can also see in this, they have some comments, and they say investing in quantum research is crucial to maintain America's status as the leader in the cutting edge technology. I'm proud to support this bipartisan legislation, which will increase our national security and bolster our economy. And that's someone from, looks like Montana. And then you also see the CEO of IonQ at the time also came out and had some comments. It was Peter Chapman at the time, and he says, IonQ applauds the senator in her efforts to reauthorize that National Quantum Initiative Act. The act is instrumental in driving the U.S. national quantum strategy and demonstrates how policy can support technology leadership. Now, is it time for the U.S. government to employ quantum computing and network technologies to help address many of the society's complex challenges in areas such as security, finance, manufacturing, and life sciences. We encourage a swift passage of this necessary legislation. That's what Peter Chapman says, the CEO of IonQ. Now, it was a swift pass, as it seems to have passed the legislation recently, and that puts $2.7 billion towards quantum. Now, since then, the stock has gone up. It happened just about a week and a half ago, and since then, the stock has gone up. Will it make a recovery to previous highs? That's the question. One of the things we've talked about kind of time and time again with some of these quantum companies is their financials, and we just haven't seen it. The financials, the amount of money that they're actually making, how much profit are they making? Their market cap's over $6 billion. And you see partnerships all the time. You got a partnership there, SK Telecom. And then we look at the financials, and they're not looking that good. I mean, they were looking good as far as steady revenue, But the net income, negative 200 million. Tell me that's not a huge loss to show on a balance sheet. Negative 200 million. I get they're doing research, but negative 200 million, man, that's quite the for one quarter, negative 200 million revenue, beating 13%, though. So they're beating revenue, but missing the earnings per share. But again, they're research. So they're putting all this money in. They're not going to see commercial payoff right away. And that's part of what you get when you invest in this more research-based IonQ quantum company. So when it comes down to the financials, the reality is, they're a $6 billion company. They're up, their market cap's up there. They're seeing pretty big L on the net income, negative 200 million. So we got to watch it right now. You can see this is some of the moves. We're going to see if it holds above this $25 range. If we see a recovery, let's say into previous highs or something like that, that's 100% swing. It is at near this resistance. So as a long-term investor, I like it. Short-term, the volatility could sell down. We'll have to see how it plays out at market open. Again, we're looking at maybe a 10% swing here if it continues up, and previous highs would be about 100%, which would require most likely a lot more patience if it's ever going to reach there, which I want to know your thoughts. Comment down below. But aside from those stocks in quantum that we've been talking about a lot, we also cover semiconductors, space companies, and what have you. If you guys want to watch our live trades, we've been trading in semiconductors and playing strategies that are profitable even in the recent tariff wars. So again, if you're curious about kind of stop guessing in the market and have more actionable insights and watch us trade live and surround yourself with other investors and traders, then I would encourage you guys, simply take a look. It's the second link down below, and you can get lifetime access to StockMate. We actually just released in StockMate the earnings targets for this week, which we do on a weekly basis. And we have some targets that have been pretty accurate. And we also have some companies that we got reporting earnings. For example, today we had Taiwan Semiconductor. No big surprise there. Didn't see any huge surge. But we got Netflix tomorrow, which should be interesting. But again, if you guys are ever curious about learning and you want also free resources like this, books for trading plans, as well as just some mindsets that you can learn when it comes to investing and trading, I would encourage you guys to simply take a look at that second link down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.